Hello, I'm John Yent. I'm nationally certified as a rehabilitation counselor. I'm also certified as an EDPNA, and I'm here to talk to you about vocational expert testimony using ORS. I've been a vocational expert in over 10,000 Social Security disability hearings. I'm here to give you some very important information about ORS if you're representing clients in disability adjudication. The ORS system is based on very important current occupational data, can be a little bit tricky to understand and use, so Workscape Analytics is here to help you understand it. Let's start with the standard hypothetical that a judge might give in a disability hearing. Let's say the standard hypothetical is unskilled, let's say it's light, let's say it's occasional bending, no ladders, occasional ramps and stairs, maybe frequent fine and gross manipulation. Let's say they can do occasional um, lifting 25 pounds, 10 pounds frequently. They can do frequent reaching at or below shoulder, but only occasional overhead and maybe just with one arm. Let's say they also need a sit-stand option. They can communicate occasionally with others. In terms of environmental conditions, no extremes of heat or cold. Let's say no heights, no moving mechanical parts. And finally, let's make sure they have an education level. Let's say they have a high school education. This would be a pretty standard RFC. With Workscape Analytics, you can see the kinds of calculations that come up with these results. And you have the ability as an attorney listening to a VE testify to compare the actual ORS data with the results that the VE is testifying to. So, for instance, if you notice that the VE is testifying about general office clerks, you also want to ask all VEs what SOC group each of these occupations belongs to. So let's say it's general office clerks. If you notice, we have an SOC details page where all of the details of the RFC are listed here. You'll see that they're kind of summarized in this top section, but also you have the ability to understand all of this data because it's right before your eyes. You can see the total number of jobs in the occupational group. You can tell what data set 2025 this came from. You can also tell what line number in the Excel spreadsheets this data was published in. And all of the math is involved and described right here. So it's very easy to follow. What you have the ability to do then is to look at the national jobs page and see, here, this makes sense, or gee, maybe it doesn't make sense. This gives you the opportunity to cross-examine the VE and get more information. Now, let's say that these job numbers are still kind of high for you and you think that more evidence should have been considered by the judge. You have the ability to, of course, ask your own RFC and hypothetical. What you can do is create a new profile, then simply duplicate from the previous profile the judge gave. Maybe here's where you add information on cognitive and mental requirements. Let's say, for example, that your person is really not great being around the public. They shouldn't be around the public. They shouldn't work on production lines or have performance quotas. They can work by people, however. Maybe they have just very basic people skills due to their mental health condition. Let's say also that they shouldn't be around crowds. Crowds is a concentrated form of the public. They also need routine, repetitive work. So that's the opposite of variability. You can then recalculate the results and find out the job numbers. In fact, when you do so, you might be surprised to see what some of these national job numbers look like. So from that standpoint, you have the ability to really make the most of all of your medical evidence of record and see that you are presenting the most favorable information for your client. Now, in addition to this, of course, we have the ability to do legal reports. You can make selections here and produce, for example, um, a comprehensive ORS analysis. Let's say you've got all this information that's before your hearing. You have the ability to submit an SSR 24-3P comprehensive analysis report ahead of time, along with your pre-hearing brief. You can also include all of the medical evidence citations on the side that correspond with the ORS restrictions, and then show all of the national job numbers based on those ORS calculations. Incredibly valuable. You can also use this tool if you're submitting it for rebuttal in terms of the 24.3P results for your vocational expert's testimony. Case preparation, of course, is extremely important, and understanding everything that's in your client's medical record is key. VE cross-examination, of course, is simplified because you have the information to calculate their numbers and ORS numbers and see where there may be differences. So the other part to keep in mind is that if, in fact, you have an unfavorable decision, you have Social Security's own data set to rely on for your rebuttal and your appeal. It's very important in the appeals process. Many cases would end up being remanded. And of course, cases that go to district court meet a very strict standard. So you'd be able to have even better defense of your position. With all that, ORS tools are extremely valuable in representing your client. Workscape Analytics data helps you do that. Please check us out online at workscapeanalytics.com. Also, please contact us for any free trainings or subscription information. Thank you for joining us.